I'm officially excited to announce that I'm retired. I think I manifested this slash kind of prayed for it in 2024. And at first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to give up being a paralegal because it's always been like a stable field for me. And I got my degree in paralegal studies. So I figured I would stay in it for a few years because back in 2024, maybe 2023, something started to shift and I was like, do I actually want to be a paralegal until I retire? What do I want to do? And then God started to show me that he's got a purpose for me. And I never thought I was one of those people because I didn't think I had any talents or gifts. And it was definitely a journey trying to figure that out, but I was really excited because I knew just deep down that I did not want to be a paralegal until I'm 65. I don't know why in my head that made sense. But just given my background, I just, went to college for something and found a good job, which it is, and it served its purpose, and I'm grateful. I am a was a paralegal for like 8 years, and as of February 18th, 2026, I am retired. I'm so happy to say that. I could not stop smiling yesterday. I was just filled with so much joy. And while I was going back and forth with myself as to when I was going to give it up, I thought that God wanted me to continue being a paralegal. I thought He was just making things uncomfortable at my previous job. And I was like, okay, well, I guess with the way things are moving, I'll see if God shows me another paralegal position. And it just hasn't worked out that way. And it was so interesting because last year things were kind of wonky and I was in a bad space. Um, and obviously just life happening. But at some point I was like, actually, I just want to step into my purpose, really, like full time. But if I'm a paralegal full time, how am I going to make time for that? And then I felt like I was glorifying money by staying in that field for so long. Like I was like, just I have to work, I have to I have to get my bonus. Like I even left before my bonus. I was actually going to put my notice in after getting my bonus, and that was on my own timeline. And God was like, "You have to leave right now. I didn't tell you to stay until you got your bonus." And the way he was making things uncomfortable, my reporting attorney left, and then I had to report to this manager that was just I won't even get into that because I'm free. But if you've ever worked in corporate or any office setting, you'll know the kind of person I'm talking about. And it was just awful. I found myself crying on my way home from work just out of frustration, not because I couldn't defend myself or anything. It was just the frustration. And I was working from home one day and I had a situation with this manager that honestly I was sitting at the table and I'm like, am I really going to put up with this until March just for some bonus? And it's not anything glamorous, because I'm not an attorney. So, I think it would have just been like a couple $1,000s, which is not bad in this economy, but God can give me more than a couple $1,000s. I was like, girl, what are we doing? So, honestly, I put a week's notice in. Whatever. I was done. I was done. I put a week's notice in, and when I tell you, I got this wave of peace. Like I felt so much lighter and like I just felt the stress leave my body immediately. Now, everyone that I was working with, once they found out that I was putting in a notice, they were like, "What are you gonna do for money?" and all this stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, girl, I'm a Christian. I don't gotta worry about nothing." And it was one of those things that I realized that as long as I stay obedient, it's gonna be fine. And I do have to constantly remind myself that because I am the eldest daughter. I cannot release control. So I think it's something that with every stage of my life, I'm going to learn what to let go of. And that's okay. I feel like it's just a part of life. But it was so interesting because I never really gone through that particular experience, and just the peace. I honestly like my face hurts from how much I was smiling yesterday. Genuinely. Just I was so happy. And I feel like just moving forward, um I really won't have to be concerned about being a paralegal again. Like I thought that after I've had like some, like a little bit of a break and could actually give my passion projects the time. Like, I was thinking like, oh, I'll just take some time off, like work some part-time jobs. I was thinking, well, maybe God will lead me to another paralegal position, but I'm like, actually, we're retired. We're done. And it's so freeing not ever having to be a paralegal again. And it's a great field, especially if you don't want to go to school or do 4 years. I only got an associate's degree. It is a great field, but I feel like I'm someone that just wanted to create more of a life for myself, if that makes any sense. And I have been taking my journey with God serious. So I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Because in 2024, I was so ready to retire. I was like, actually, we can call it. We're good. I'm like, God, whatever you want me to do, just make it very clear to me what my next step should be. And I want you guys to remember that God will never keep you in a situation that will destroy you. So the um with my reporting attorney leaving my previous company, that company was going to start to destroy me. And it already was. It was instantaneous. It was like I found out that she put in her resignation, and I was so disappointed because she allowed me the flexibility and like just work life balance. Like I just working under her was not stressful. But then as soon as she left, my world flipped upside down, and that's when I knew I had to leave. And honestly, because I was working on my own timeline, things started to get really bad. And that's because I wasn't being obedient. I always knew, and that was my one thing. I always said, if I ever have to work under this specific manager, then I'm going to leave. And in my head, I had this timeline of March because I was like, well, I'll get my bonus. And God was like, no, you're leaving right now. So just remember, He's never going to keep you in something that's going to destroy you. We all know that corporate is soul crushing. So some people can put up with it long term. I mean, I said what, 8? Yeah, I have been a paralegal for 8 years and I'm finally released of that. But when it's time for you to go, you will know. And it's not necessarily going to be a feeling of anxiety, but you'll know this season is ending. If you're in a season of transitioning, I hope that this helps. And I really encourage you to read those signs that God is showing you that you need to leave that situation, relationship, or whatever it is, because there will be more consequences of you being disobedient than the aftermath of you leaving that situation. So take the risk and just leave. Listen to what God is telling you because that feeling, trust me, it's not something that I could have ignored because then once you leave the situation or you'll just know you're going to feel peace. Like it's going to be automatic because as soon as I typed up that resignation letter and I had a end date, peace immediately. I'm telling you, listen to what God is telling you. I'm still continuing to navigate my season of transitioning. I've looked up some Bible, um, some books of the Bible that I should be reading, and just some scripture just all around to help me in this transitioning season, trying to be brave and learning how to listen to God some more. And if you're in a season of transitioning and you feel like God is telling you to move out of whatever it may be, I hope that this helped because I just went through this literally. And yeah, it was a little scary, I'm not going to lie, because, not having consistent income to fall back on, but God has never let me down. And I was like, actually, what am I stressing out for? It'll be fine. And I hope that my video helped you and that you can also just be brave and make the jump. God is always there and He is going to allow some bad things to happen, but then things will just turn around. It'll be a and suddenly moment. Anyways, my name is Adi Annette, and this is my little faith corner of the internet. And I'll see you next time.